Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of turning Lifesteal SMP members into clay figurines. And for today's episode, we're gonna be doing Pangi. My goal here is to try to cover every single Lifesteal SMP member and even do some non-Lifestealers if I feel like it. This video is gonna cover the whole process from start to finish. Without further ado, let's get into the video. To do such projects, I usually start sketching my ideas first before I do the figurine. I think this is really helpful for me to just pen down what I think of and actually just pick the design that I think would be suitable for this figurine. So coming into this sketching session, I had three ideas in mind. Firstly is a normal pangolin figurine, but then I would use Pangi's colors, and of course I'll add the sunglasses as well. Another idea I had was to do the pangolin and human hybrid that I did with two of my previous fan arts. My 100k followers on Twitch celebratory fan art, and then this streamer awards poster that I also did. And actually drawing this idea made me think of another one of just making him lift his sunglasses up. So from that point on, I kind of decided to not do the pangolin one. The third idea I had was to make it follow his Minecraft skin while he also lifted the sunglasses up. And at that point of time, I also was looking in the Lifesteal sticker pack and I saw the pose that they made Pangi do. And I actually got a bit of inspiration from it and decided to at least incorporate some Lifesteal hearts somewhere in the drawing. So I decided on the final design where there are going to be one hand holding a heart and another hand lifting the sunglasses and some hearts at the back of his tail as if they are like scales. And then I decided to add a scarf. Anyways, here is the final design I went. Now let's get to the most fun and longest part of making this figurine, sculpting it. I used agile clay for this project, so I did not need to oven bake it or anything like that. And I also used satay sticks. I also used glue. I made their parts individually and used satay sticks. And if satay sticks don't work, I use glue to stick it together. Of course, each accessory such as the sunglasses and the Lifesteal heart will be made separately. I feel like it's really cool to have like attachable and detachable accessories on figurines like these. After working on my base, I worked on my scales. I decided not to be lazy and actually do scales on the front and the back so it looks good on all angles. And after hours of placing scales on the figurine, so actually in the middle of me placing these scales, I forgot to make the scarf. So I ended up having to decapitate one of the hands as it was in the way of me making the scarf. And I managed to find a tutorial on Pinterest and I took an embarrassingly long amount of time trying to follow it. eventually after that, I managed to figure it out. And I gotta say, it doesn't look that bad. After working on the main character base, I started working onto the accessories. I firstly started with the sunglasses, which by the way, took me a while to figure out. Originally, I wanted the frames to be a separate piece and letting like the hooks to also be sticking next to it. But after a while of testing, I kept on seeing the glasses fall off or it becoming too big and all that sort of stuff. So I eventually changed the design and make it specifically shaped to the figurine's face, and it works. And for the hearts, I cut them out with scissors and I poked a hole in one of the sides so I could place a satay stick. This would be helpful for it to be able to be placed in the figurine's hand and tail. After finally finishing my base, I let it sit out to dry. And then after that, I took some sandpaper and started sanding it out. This helps to smooth out the figurine. So finally, after all that, I started painting. I personally use acrylic for this. Of course, you can use other paints if you want. I use acrylic as this is just what I'm most comfortable with, and also I think it's quite good for such projects as it can dry really fast. So a tip I'll give y'all is that you should try to do everything in separate layers. I'd rather have to spend more time and make it look neat rather than trying to save time by trying to do everything together and then it looks messy, it smudges and all that sort of stuff. I'm speaking from personal experience here, as when I tried to do everything in one layer, I had to spend extra time trying to clean it up anyways. I don't know about other paints if you can do this, but there's actually also another reason why I use acrylic paint. Acrylic has to be one of the most forgiving traditional mediums out there in my opinion. Like if you make a mistake, all you got to do is to take a bit of white paint, paint over the mistake, let it dry and then redo that. You could technically do this an infinite amount of times. To give my figurine that beautiful shine and protection, I added some Mod Podge and varnish, specifically 3 coats of Mod Podge and 2 coats of varnish. I know some people will call this overkill, but I want to give my figurines that extra protection. And voila, there we go, is the completed Pangi figurine. And for today's video, if you guys enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and turn on those notifications to see more of my content in the future. And also follow my socials and join the Discord server to interact with other cool people and even me. Also follow my Twitch behind the scenes of making these videos and also some other fun stuff. If you have any suggestions, please comment them down below. Anyways, have a nice day. Bye!